Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're having an amazing time because it's time for a new video. And this time we're gonna refresh our memory and basically talk again about how you can install Zabbix Java Gateway, how you can monitor your Zabbix Java Gateway, and as a bonus, you will also get how you can monitor Tomcat. And for all of this tutorial, I have Zabbix.0.22 installed up and ready. And I also have my virtual machine, which is Alma Linux 9.4, and I'm also going to be using the guide from initmax, the wiki page from the initmax, which kind of has like all of the steps already written down, but you know, some people do like to watch video more, and maybe I will stumble on some frequent mistakes and stuff like that so that we can troubleshoot all of that on the fly. First of all, like when we decide that, okay, it's time to install Zabbix Java Gateway for some amazing reason, like we need to monitor some Java applications and stuff like that, you need to choose operating system, and based on your selection, some of the commands are actually going to be different. So in initmax wiki, I guess that's the bonus that you can choose. Like if you have Debian as example, you will see all Debian related commands. I myself have Alma Linux, which is like from RHEL family, so I will be using this one. What is Zabbix Java Gateway? Standalone component for monitoring JMX Java applications. Like you cannot really do that with agents or proxies or whatever. You do need Zabbix Java Gateway directly from Java applications. Must be connected to a Zabbix server or a Zabbix proxy. And it's also important that like only one Java Gateway per Zabbix server or the proxy. So if you want to have multiple Zabbix Java Gateways, you will have to install multiple proxies, but you are not limited to monitor one single Java application with one single Java gateway. So you can still have like one Java gateway and monitor all of your Java applications. That's like the only component in a Zabbix which is written in a Java. That's why it requires the Java runtime environment. Communication between Zabbix component and Java gateway cannot be encrypted, and I myself am on 7.0 version, but if you would be on a 7.4, that we would be safe to say that like Java gateway is the only component which we cannot encrypt. Communication from Java gateway to monitor Java applications can be secured, encrypted, and authenticated. Version alignment is critical. Java Gateway must be the same major version as your Zabbix server and or proxy. So if I have Zabbix from the major version 7.0, then I'm also must be sure to install Zabbix Java Gateway with the version 7.0. Installation best practices: Java runtime environment is automatically installed alongside Zabbix Java Gateway. So that comes as dependency. No dedicated template provided by Zabbix for the Java Gateway itself. Use the generic Java template, which is available out of the box. Custom libraries might need for specific Java server. Proper configuration of Java pollers is crucial, so we also have to adjust some of the configuration parameters of our Zabbix server, and also on the Zabbix Java Gateway, if I remember correctly. So first thing first, we need to add a repository, and I think I already have mine. So let me check. RPM-QA grep Zabbix. And what we have here, I do have Zabbix release 7.0. If you don't, I would suggest you to, you can grab it here. But this one is, as you can see, for the version 7.0 and Rocky 9, but you might need something else. I would suggest to go to zabbix.com, get Zabbix, Zabbix packages, and just grab your version 7.0, 7.2, 7.4, whatever. Choose your operating system distribution and version 9, 10, 8, whatever. And no matter of your selection here, we are basically interested just in this first line, which is going to be repository. I already, as I said, have it added on my virtual machine, so I don't need to do this step. Therefore, I also don't need to run dnf clean all, but I do need to install Zabbix Java Gateway. So I will just copy paste this command, go back to my CLI, copy paste. I will add -y at the end to just automatically confirm all of the prompts for confirmation, and I'm going to wait for a couple of seconds until all this is installed. So as Zabbix Java Gateway installation is successfully completed, we can proceed with the next steps, and the next steps are configuration file locations. Like, yeah, we have main configuration file in etc Zabbix, zabbixjavagateway.conf. Let me show it you here. vi etc Zabbix, zabbixjavagateway.conf. This is like the regular configuration file, just like for the Zabbix server and Zabbix agent and Zabbix proxy and all other components. But we also have Zabbix Java Gateway logback.xml file, which is for the logging configuration. So Zabbix Java Gateway underscore logback XML. This is where you can configure your logging, the format, and also the level of how much information you actually want to see. For Zabbix server, we have the default Zabbix server config file. For proxy, it's going to be zabbixproxy.conf, and we're going to need like one or another depending on through which component you want to monitor your Java stuff. So enabling the Zabbix Java Gateway. Since I don't have proxy installed, I do have just Zabbix server, so we need to edit Zabbix server configuration, and that is located at zabbix underscore server.conf. Open that up, and we need to check for 3 parameters. First, Java Gateway. Here it is. And I'm going to copy paste this parameter, and I'm going to fill it with the default values 127001, because I have a Zabbix Java Gateway located in the same machine, same virtual machine as my Zabbix server. That's why it's localhost. Java Gateway port, I'm going to leave that default. The default is 10052. And start Java pollers. So these by default are not started. And if you're going to miss this step, then eventually you're going to configure everything. Start Zabbix Java Gateway, create a host, attach a template, and not receive any values. And everything is going to be grayed out, not working, just because by default there are no Java pollers. So I'm going to set them to 5. And that's it. Those are 3 parameters that we had to check in a Zabbix server configuration. So click escape, write quit, and close the configuration file. Let me clear the screen to make it easier for you. Here's basically the same screenshot of parameters that we added. Start Java pollers is an important parameter that you always need to keep in mind. Default is 0. Java monitoring is turned off. Recommended starting value 5. Why 5? Because on the Zabbix Java Gateway, we also by default have 5. Zabbix Java Gateway .conf start pollers equals 5. So if we assume that on the Zabbix Java Gateway we will have 5 workers, then to serve Zabbix Java Gateway we will also ask the same, at least the same value from the Zabbix server, so also 5 pollers. So basically make sure that these at least match. You've changed, aligned this number also in Zabbix Java Gateway configuration. When using multiple Zabbix servers proxies with one gateway, sum their poller counts. After final configuration, don't forget to restart Zabbix server component. That's the usual stuff. Whenever you make some changes in the configurations files of any Zabbix component, you need to restart it for the changes to apply. So systemctl restart Zabbix-server. That is done. Enabling Java Gateway self-monitoring. So we need to edit Zabbix Java Gateway configuration file, vi etc Zabbix, I have it here, so etc zabbixjavagateway.conf, and special monitoring section, self-monitoring, uncomment the following line to enable built-in JMX monitoring of the gateway itself, Java options. So let's search where we have Java options right in the bottom. So uncomment this, and uncomment this. I hope this is going to be enough, because what's important here, we want to write all this as one single line. Like this Java ops equals these 3 lines is like one single command, one line. And if there's something in between, it's not going to work. If you're going to try to run these as 3 separate lines, it's not going to work. So be careful when uncommenting. We'll see, make sure that that works fine. So right quit, save the configuration file. Ensure each Java option minus decom starts immediately after space with no extra spaces inside. Apply the new settings, start the Zabbix Java Gateway, and enable it to automatically after reboot. So systemctl enable Zabbix Java Gateway.service now, which is gonna enable the service. Make sure that it auto starts after your restart of the server and also starts the service right away. Verifying and monitoring setup. Create a host for Zabbix Java Gateway in the Zabbix. So let's go to our Zabbix data collection, hosts, create a new host, call it Java Gateway. Put it to host groups, which is mandatory. We're going to use Linux servers. And what kind of template do we need to attach? Generic Java JMX. Templates, generic, let's do it like this, Java, generic Java JMX, and we also need interface, this time for JMX. We're monitoring Java, not the agent, so yeah, make sure that you have JMX port 12345, port 12345. That should be good, so click add. Let's see, after short delay, JMX icon turns green, Java Gateway is now ready and monitored. So let's check it here. Let's search for Java and let's wait a second until this actually starts working. And there we go. Availability of JMX interface became green, which means that it is working just fine. We can also go to the monitoring latest data and search for some for our host Java Gateway. And we see that we already started to receive the data like loaded class count, total loaded class count, heap memory maximum size, heap memory committed, and all sort of the goodies from our Zabbix Java Gateway. And the next like bonus step of this all is how can you actually monitor Tomcat with a Zabbix Java Gateway? And first thing first, like we're gonna need Tomcat, right, if we want to monitor it. And basically, please note that the following example is performed on Rocky Linux 9 in your environment. Tomcat is most likely already installed or provided by your existing application setup. So, well, you kind of won't be able to install two Tomcats, but just keep that in mind that maybe you already have it. I don't. Therefore, I'm gonna copy paste this command, which will install Tomcat, Tomcat Web Apps, Tomcat Admin Web Apps, and Tomcat Docs Web Apps. So copy paste this line here. Again, -y in the end to automatically confirm everything. And let's wait for a second or two. So this one is done. Let's go back to our guide. We need to edit the Tomcat configuration file. And that one is located in the vi etc tomcat tomcat.conf. Here we have a config file. Add the following. Don't forget to replace the IP address. It must be the monitored host, not the Zabbix server or the Java Gateway. So for us, it's going to be localhost, I believe. Yeah, and then we'll see. In our case, the parameter factory org Apache Commons basic data source factory was already predefined, so we place the additional parameter immediately after it. Pay attention to the correct quotation marks and line continuation indentation using backslash. So I'm going to try just copy paste this, put it in the end. Put your own definitions here. Yeah, so copy paste. Yes, and IP address should be wait again. IP address, it must be the monitored host, not the Zabbix server or the Java Gateway. So the address of monitored host for me is 192.168.56.106. I think that should be good. So we also have the password file and access file for authentication true. So we were gonna need to fill these settings as well. So let's, oh shit, there we go. Just make sure that don't break everything. Click escape, right quit. This is saved. Let's see what we have here. Backslash, let's double check that I do have a backslash. Yes, I do. So everything supposedly should be fine. To create JMX access roles and password, we need to create or edit following files. Edit or create etc tomcat JMX remote access. So copy paste. I'm going to use vi instead of nano. In this file, we will define a user role with the required permissions. So copy paste. We define monitor role, which is going to be read only, and a control role, which is going to be read and write. So right quit here, then edit or create the password file, which is etc Tomcat JMX remote password vi, and inside it, in this file, we will define passwords for the users configured for JMX access. Again, copy paste, not going to invent anything new. Of course, if you're setting this up on a production, you don't want to use like password 1, password 2. Right quit. What else? Set the correct permissions for security. The user on your system may be different. We're using the same user that runs our Tomcat servers. So copy paste this. We're applying permissions on basically on the new files that we just created for the roles and for the password itself. And then when all of the changes are applied, we need to restart Tomcat service. Firewall, I'm gonna copy paste, but I don't think I'm running firewall here. That's it. That's all configuration for the Tomcat. So now the next stuff is to create a host in Zabbix itself. I'm gonna go back here, data collection hosts, create new, call it Tomcat, host group, again, Linux servers. Template is, let me close this to not confuse, Apache Tomcat by JMX. Tomcat by JMX. What else do we need? Set the correct macro. Macro we have here, Tomcat password. So macro inherited Tomcat password change. What was the correct value? Password 1. And there we go. We can copy paste it. And the user, where do we have user? Tomcat user change, and it is the monitor role, which has just read-only access, and that should be it. So we can click update, add, cannot inherit item with a key JMX to host Tomcat because the host interface. So we forgot to add an interface. Go back to the host tab. Here is interfaces. We need to add JMX, and I think we still need to provide local host and port 9010. So port 9010 located on a local host. Click add. Let's see how this goes. So filter by Tomcat, and again, let's wait a couple of seconds for all of this stuff to apply. And there we go. Our availability became green, so the connection is available. We have more items created. Before we had, I think, like 8 or something like that. Now we have 30, just because our low-level discovery actually went through. And as you can see, we created a lot of context discovery items, global request processor discovery for the local host manager, sessions active, sessions allowed maximum, a lot of tags. We have triggers, 3 of them. We have graphs and discovery rules, but basically we can also go to the monitoring latest data, search for our Tomcat host, click apply, and let's wait again a minute, because just right now these LLD items were created and we need to wait for another minute for them to actually collect some data. And there we go. So we have received the data like 3 seconds, 2 seconds ago. The last values are pretty much all over the zeros because I don't actually have anything going on that server. But overall, that's the way how you can install and configure your Zabbix Java Gateway, monitor the Zabbix Java Gateway, and also monitor the Tomcat. Hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think if you have any questions. Other than that, thank you guys for watching and see you in next videos.